Okay, David, we're here looking at your Carolina cherry, and a few things come to mind here. The first one I think has to do with nutrients. Uh, the soil that you have here may be rich, or it might be deficient in something, and that's not something we can know just by looking at the soil. I can see that there is fertilizer put at the base of each tree. I'm not sure if that's something you guys put on after or if it's here from when the trees were planted. But the trees also need a proper balance of pH to be able to properly absorb those nutrients. So the only way to know that is we got to take a soil sample, send it to the lab, figure out what the pH is, and if it's something that's conducive to allowing the trees to absorb the nutrients. And then if we find out that that is the problem, we can adjust the soil by adding different amendments to balance out that pH. It also could just be that the soil is deficient in iron or something like that that would be causing the yellowing and the stunted growth. The other issue is this kind of look of the beginning of decline and then some yellowing is what it looks like when trees are planted too deep. When you plant a tree too deep, the roots aren't able to expand, and it's sort of like the trees are suffocating. So I came in here and started checking the heights of everything, and they're all the right height, so I rule that one out as a possible concern. But then that brings us to our next issue. We might be dealing with a root suffocation issue in a different manner. When I look at the ground around the trunk of each tree, I can see a very well-defined circle, almost like a divot, and it's the exact same size as the bucket that these trees came in when they were installed. It looks like a 15-gallon size bucket, which is about a foot or 16 inches, I guess, across the top. I'd have to measure it. So I looked at this tree right here. Excuse me, I looked at a bunch of them and noticed this, but this tree shows it the best. So we have this kind of circle pattern right around here. I know it's hard to see in the video as we're looking through the canopy, but when we get down in here, you can see a little bit of a trench that I dug really easily with my fingers just by reaching down there, and it makes a very clearly defined circle. Here it is on the left side, and then if we go over here to the right side, you can see that same pattern where there's no root expansion. This is the root ball right here, and this is the native soil, and there's no root expansion inside here. I can dig straight down, and it's the exact dimension of a 15-gallon bucket, and we can follow it to the back here. And we get very little to no root expansion within this trench. I'm going to fill that back in, but I noticed this pattern not on all of them, but sort of consistently, and it's essential for new plants to be healthy, for their roots to grow and expand so that it can absorb more water, which allows the tree to grow more. So if we're just dealing with a nutrient imbalance or a pH imbalance, it's kind of an easy problem to fix. It costs a little bit, I mean, it costs some money up front to do the testing and the amending, but it's one of those things that becomes just a general maintenance, and we can get back to normal so we can get things that look like these two over here. If we're dealing with root bounding issues, that's a much harder problem to fix, and it usually doesn't work out so well, and people tend to hold on to the trees until they look bad enough that they just yank them out and replace them with good nursery stock. The final thing I want to say is I noticed the two irrigation lines. For the most part, the moisture is pretty good in the middle part of the hedge. Over here, it's super dry and dusty. There might be a clog in the line or something like that that's worth looking into. And then finally, I noticed you had these bags of wood chips over here, and I am assuming that those were collected out from the bottom of these trees and put into the bags until you guys figure out what's going on. So I just want to verify if that's the case. And then the only questions I have for you are timeline things. How long have you guys been on the property? how long have the plants been here, and when did you guys start noticing problems. I'm glad you took 5 minutes to watch this whole entire video if you made it this far, and give me a call or email me, and let's see if we can get to the bottom of this. The trees do not look great right now, and I can see the decline, especially over here and over here in the lower sections. It's starting to die back, but you still have even density in the canopies, and it might be something that can be turned around.